Good morning, everybody, and I think we can officially say happy holidays now, right?
Yes, it is. Did you have a nice Thanksgiving?
I did. How about you?
Oh, it's fabulous.
Yes,
always good to spend time with family.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and as I said, the holidays are officially here. Thanksgiving was last Thursday. Hanukkah has begun. Happy Hanukkah to everyone. Christmas is a few short weeks away, unfortunately.
Yeah, not a lot of time this
about
year
another
between
month
Thanksgiving
and a half,
and Christmas.
Least. Right.
A lot to get done here.
Absolutely. So we've got a lot to share with you today because we're going to talk about choosing your Christmas tree and taking care of your Christmas tree.
Right. I feel like for a lot of people, decorating really begins, with selecting just the perfect Christmas tree. And as always, we have more and more and more choices, so it gets to become a little more difficult deciding just what you want. So we're going to go through the full selection today. We'll talk about trees that have been cut, fresh cut trees, live trees that you might want to transplant in your landscape, and also a huge selection of artificial trees. So we'll just go through the whole thing start to finish, and I don't know if we're going to make your shopping easier or more difficult.
I don't know. And as you can see, we have come inside into our beautiful new set. Thank you to Karen and Peter and Rob and everybody who has done such a fantastic job here. I feel very at home here.
As I was thinking, I'm really proud to be part of a group of people that really, we do everything in-house. When I think about everything from the set design to the videos we use on here, we use the own talent that we have at Merrifield Garden Center, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
Absolutely. We are going to be taking phone calls later in the show, so I hope you'll stay tuned for that. But first, we have several announcements today because there is a lot going on at Merrifield Garden Center this weekend. It is our holiday open house, so thank you for everybody who came by yesterday. That was so much fun seeing everybody. It's just such a jolly, festive atmosphere.
Yeah, but the fun continues through the whole weekend.
The fun definitely continues. So today and tomorrow at all 3 locations, come on by. We've got refreshments. We've got our designers are creating, as you watch, they're creating beautiful arrangements and centerpieces. We've got drawings going on. Actually, we have 2 drawings going on. We have our regular holiday open house drawing for gift cards and tickets and a couple of gift baskets. We also have a separate drawing for the Redskins game tomorrow night. So I know at Fair Oaks, they're right there together, so you can sign up for both, and they'll be drawing that, I believe, tonight for the Redskin tickets for tomorrow night. So several sets of tickets being given out, so it's a great opportunity. Sunday night would be a fun time to go to the Redskin game.
It would be, and of course, to me, the biggest attraction is the Christmas shop itself. I think it's something like 28 different themes or something like that, and so amazing. It's just phenomenal to browse through and see all the different themes that the designers have put together.
It's funny, every time I go and look through, it's like, oh, there's something new, there's something new. There's just so much to see. It's amazing, just amazing. So we invite you to come by, enjoy the festive atmosphere. We'll be there today at Fair Oaks for a little. You'll be there for a little bit. I'll be there for a little bit, and I think Peggy will be there for a little bit. So we're kind of all over the place this weekend. So do come by and say hello if you get a chance, and enjoy the holiday open house because it's a lot of fun. Santa arrives at all 3 locations today, and they're arriving. There's different schedules at each location. First of all, at our Merrifield location, if you've been in this area at all, you know that we have our Santa there has been an area tradition for 35 years. So he has his magical house with trains and activities and magical memories in there. So take advantage of that. He arrives, I believe, at 11 today, but I'm not sure. Check the website on that. There was one thing I was supposed to do was make sure I had all the
But I know he starts with a press conference and meets with the children, and they do some Christmas songs. It's a pretty big production, so you need to allow a little bit of time for that.
Exactly. And at our Fair Oaks location, our Santa is out amongst the greenery. It's very beautiful out there, very festive and feels like the holidays. At our Gainesville location, Santa is in a brand new house at our Gainesville location. So I haven't seen that completed yet, so I'm excited to see that. So
I know, I have to get down there and visit Santa sometime this weekend.
I know. So MerrifieldGardenCenter.com has the entire schedule for all 3 locations. Also today at our Fair Oaks location, we're having the Steinbach Nutcracker signing event. Carla Steinbach, who is, I think, the 6th generation Steinbach family members.
I lose track, but it's nice to see her each year.
She is amazing. We have a couple of nutcrackers here on the set. There are a couple of, I think we have like over 25 different styles that you can choose from. So if you have your heirloom ones at home, bring them in. She'll be happy to sign them. If you need one, come on in. We've got all those varieties to choose from. Choose one that she's happy to sign them. And she's so fun. You know, she has great stories and just really takes her time with you and makes it very special. So that's it from 11 to 3 today at our Fair Oaks location. And next week we'll have holiday decorating classes, decorating with fresh greens and flowers with Peggy, and create a holiday theme with Amy Strunk. So lots going on.
Yeah.
And before we forget, ta-da, right off the press, hot off the press, I should say, our 2014 Merrifield Garden Center calendar has just arrived. So come on by and pick up your copy. It is, you know, I say this every year, it's the best. Every year is better than the year before.
It is, but you know, I've had people for the past month asking for when these calendars are going to be out, when these calendars are going to be out, because they realize, I mean, everybody in my family asks and waits for them because it allows, you know, I know everybody's got iPads and iPhones and all these reminders, but at the end of the day, everybody I know still goes back to keeping track of all their appointments on the calendar.
And there's, you know, beautiful pictures and tips and that type of thing. There's where you can see the tips, and I'll pull this down so you can see the pictures. That's at our Gainesville location, one of the displays set up. So just full of beautiful pictures. Oh, let me pull that over one more time. There we go. So, you know, we didn't get the whole shipment in, so we've got plenty. So come on in. If we happen to be out when you get them, there'll be more in a few days. So I love our calendars.
Yeah.
Sharon, you, me, Kevin, who else participated in that? Peggy. We got so many people that participated in that, and so many pictures. You'll see we've got some of our staff have been putting pictures of it too, so it's great. So so that's all the announcements. Yeah. We are pretty close to, want to do our bird watching video?
I'd like to get out there because I tell you, I was getting up this morning and it's, you know, 20 degrees out there, and you're thinking, well, how could anything survive out here in this cold? Well, it's important that we think about the birds that are outdoors. And there's a DVD that's been released fairly recently. It's got the Vivaldi's Violin Concertos, the 4 seasons out there. And of course, it's put birds to it, a little video. So I think this would be a fantastic gift, Christmas gift.
Christmas gift, Hanukkah gift, gift to yourself.
Exactly. So if you are interested in birds and you enjoy music, if you want to, you can put a little subtitle on there that identifies the specific bird species, or you can just have it there in the background. So fantastic music, and you get to see the birds out there. And what Debbie's showing you, we really offer a couple different ones. The Better Bird Watching for Virginia, West Virginia, goes through a larger selection of birds and identifying birds in the community, you know, in our local region, which is great. And then he took little excerpts from that, sort of choreographed them together and put it to the music of Vivaldi for the 4 seasons.
That's great.
So those are 2 separate DVDs, just depending on where your interests are.
You've got a couple of other
and
bird gift ideas.
Super quick, because I say, you know, you go out there, it's been so cold, and you're thinking about how do these birds survive out there? Well, they need food, water, and shelter that's out there. So of course it's so cold out there that bird baths are freezing, you know, up in ice. So want to give a little reminder, putting a bird bath de-icer out there is always greatly appreciated. The other is the birds do like the suet. It's a good time to put out there. This adds a little bit of energy into their diet, the fat and the protein that they need to keep themselves warm. I also just brought in, there's also like hot pepper suet out there, which is to keep the squirrels out of it and allow the birds get in. And you can tie all this together with Christmas time with these birdseed wreaths that have little wreaths and snowmen and Christmas trees and stuff with the seed and the suet all mixed together. So
that's great.
Just remember our feathered friends out there, and you can tie it into a nice Christmas gift also.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we've got some great ideas on your Christmas tree to help you find the right one. We'll be right back. Lots of little holiday ideas on the set today. So I love our little homey set. This is so neat.
Yeah, yeah, it really is nice. Regular viewers know we used the same set for I don't know how many years. So we're super excited now that we're changing and updating.
Absolutely. Okay, Christmas trees. It's time to think about that Christmas tree, and choosing it is very important. So we did some filming a little while ago, a year or two ago, I guess, and Rob Woodman, who you've seen on the show many, many times, came over to the Fair Oaks location, and you guys took a little look around.
Absolutely. So let's see what Rob has to tell us about Christmas trees.
Okay.
For many families, the Christmas season begins with finding the perfect Christmas tree. And Robert's here with us today to help us do just that.
I'm going to try. Perfect's always in the eye of the beholder. But let's start off with the pines, okay? What we're in front of right here is a Scotch pine. Shorter needles, clusters of needles, a little bit pointy at the ends. Beautiful tree. You can see it's a really nice shape. Always confuses me whenever I see a Scotch pine. I always think it's something else until I get up close to it. But this is definitely a popular tree for a lot of people. Next tree on.
Absolutely. It's pretty, but it's nice to have choices.
It is, it is. Next tree, love this one. Soft tree. This is your white pine. You often see white pines being used in a lot of table decorations, pine roping, door swags, things like that. So it's nice to actually be able to have the tree as well. You can see it's a real soft tree. Nice one to touch.
It makes you want to just come out there and pet it, doesn't it?
It does. It looks like just a big hairy tree. But it's a nice alternative to some of the other trees that you can find.
Great. Well, we carry several different types.
There are. Next one, firs. Now the firs are the ones which we often see and sell the most of for a Christmas tree. This is a Douglas fir. It's not really a true fir though. That's the confusing thing about it. But I love this one. It has a really wonderful citrusy aroma when you crush up those needles. And when you get it inside a nice warm room, that fragrance just hangs in the air. So it sweetens up the room.
Yeah. And I think the fragrance is real important to a lot of people. Now we're going to look at my personal favorite.
This is, I mean, if you've grown up in this area, the Fraser fir is the one that a lot of people go for. It's a traditional tree for a lot of folks here. You can always tell a Fraser because it has a shorter, slightly flatter needle than you see on some of the other trees. Just excellent fragrance, excellent needle retention as well.
Absolutely. And then we have one more to look at that might be a little bit new to some people.
This is, yeah. A lot of people when they come in, they've not really heard of this tree. This is the iconic Christmas tree, I think. It's the one that you see on a lot of Christmas cards. Chernobyl fir. It's a West Coast grown tree, but it has what I like about it, this nice horizontal branch layering that you see. And it has a little bit more openness in the tree, which allows you to hang a heavier Christmas ornament closer to the trunk where it can hold more weight without it being clustered out with all the branches that you see on some of the other trees.
It does, and a nice almost blue coloration in there as well.
It is nice. Phenomenal fragrance, excellent needle retention.
Right. So in addition to looking at different types of trees, what else are we looking for in selecting a tree?
Freshness, always the key thing. A lot of people will come in looking for the freshest tree that we have. Now there's several ways that you can determine that. One of them is just to run your hands through the needles. What you're feeling for is a little bit more stiffness in the needles. That would indicate freshness in the tree, that it has more moisture within the actual needle itself. If it feels a little bit soft, pliable, it might be getting on the slightly drier side, but also what you're looking for is excessive needle drop, because that would really indicate that it's a drier tree.
Yeah, and that'd be a disappointment to find the ideal tree and then find that it's dried out on you.
Not a good thing, trust me.
Yeah.
The other thing that we do here is that once you've selected your tree, we'll go ahead and put a fresh cut on it, as long as you can get it in water within a reasonable amount of time, typically about an hour. Try and use warm water out of a tap, sit the tree in it, let it soak up and rehydrate itself.
Exactly, and that's something you need to check on every day.
Definitely. If you let that tree dry out, then you're in trouble. And the way that you go about correcting it is that you have to lay the tree back down, do another fresh cut, get it in water again, and that often means removing the ornaments from it. So it always pays off to make sure that you're checking for moisture.
Excellent. Well, Robert, thanks for coming down, sharing these tips with us on finding the ideal Christmas tree.
I can't wait. I mean, the smells out there at the garden center, all those trees, it's just beautiful. We actually started looking for our tree yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could really see everybody's coming out. There's almost like when it gets cold, and it's actually been nice because, you know, getting bundled up and going to buy your tree, you know, it feels like Christmas is on the way.
Now, we've got something that was new last year.
Right, I didn't have time to show this in the video, but there's a tree that we started carrying last year. We had a few, and then we've got a few more this year that's growing in popularity. I did bring a little swag in here from it. This is called the Turkish fir. It looks very much like that noble fir does, except the noble fir has that bluish tinge to it, whereas this has that nice dark green.
Right.
Has excellent needle retention in the house.
It's a beautiful feel to it too.
And the fragrance of it's a little different. It almost has a little bit of a citrus type of scent to it. And I don't know that you could see it all, but I'm contrasting it with the Fraser fir. The needle is also a little bit longer, so it's a little different in the texture and the fragrance of it. But when you see the tree, it's got really nice structure to it, good density and everything. So it's a variety that's growing in popularity, and we'll probably continue to see more and more of them.
Right. Okay. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got some live trees to show you, right?
I think so, or do we go into artificials? I lose track.
Oh, we got artificials. You're right. Sorry. We've got so many to choose from. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking about Christmas trees today. We just took a look at our many varieties of cut trees, or part of our many varieties of cut trees. We also have a wonderful selection of artificial trees. And so you were talking to Merrill about the artificial trees, right?
Yes, yeah, this is again out of a Fair Oaks store bin. You'll find a nice selection at all 3 locations. And as you'll see here in just a second, you know, the quality of these trees, it just gets better and better and better.
So let's take a look.
Well, we're talking about selecting an artificial Christmas tree today, and Merrill has joined us to give us a few pointers. Thanks for being here. Things have changed a lot. I know they've continued to get more realistic. We have more options. Maybe you can give us an overview of what we have available.
Sure. We have trees available from small 3-foot trees all the way up to big 12-foot trees. We have them available in several needle styles. This is just a cut, more old-fashioned type of tree. They're available in molded plastic tips like you see here, from blue greens to nice dark greens. They're available in white lights, again like you see here, and multicolored lights. They're even available nowadays in LED light, as you see over here.
Yeah, I noticed that's another improvement that we've seen on there.
Definitely, yes.
The LEDs that have a nice warm feeling to it.
Yeah, it's the light is nice and warm as opposed to the older LEDs that had a more blue light, and you can't forget the fact that they're very energy efficient.
Right, and I guess the bulbs last a long time.
The bulbs, I've been told, last about 10 times longer than regular bulbs.
That's great. So we get them clear or multicolor.
Yes.
Right. Well, it's great to have all these options. Let's take a walk and see what else they have available.
I want to show you this Newman Cascade Crystal Pine over here. It's got frosted branch tips, it's got multicolored lights, and even little pine cones tucked in bits and in places.
That's really a beautiful tree. I just think it's phenomenal.
It's very pretty.
Everybody can just go through and basically find whatever they like in a Christmas tree. So, now the other is the mechanics of this thing, how they're put together, setting them up, taking them down. I know when I first started many years ago, the artificial trees, you know, we had color-coded branches and all that stuff to mess with. It was a bit of a project.
Right, not anymore. Most of the trees come in 3 pieces. You slip the top piece into the next piece and all the way down, and then the lights are just plugged in one section all the way down into the next. Plug it into the wall and you're good to go. The branches fold down. You have to do a little bit of fluffing to make it look realistic. Pretty much you're ready.
Yeah, but that's pretty nice. Basically, the branch, like I say, you don't have to match them in there. It's all attached.
No, it's all pre-attached, and it sort of folds down, I tell people, like an umbrella. Very easy.
Right. Now, I know they've done a really nice job on this tree. I look at how the wiring is even basically camouflaged in there.
The wiring on these new Newman trees is almost invisible, and the Newmans are super easy to put up, to assemble, and to fluff as well. Each whirl of branches sets down individually. You fluff out that whirl of branches. You bring the next one down. You work from the bottom up to the top. And these branches are super soft. They don't scratch you as you're doing your work.
They do, so it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, these trees are very easy to work with. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for being here with us today and sharing all the experience with the artificial trees. Come on down, check it out for yourself. There's just so many to choose from.
That's for sure. There are so many to choose from.
Yeah, and I tell you, the convenience is an obvious attraction there. You know, everybody we love live trees, but then the artificials, they're just so convenient.
I know. We go back and forth. I don't know that I'd ever go away from a cut tree, but
Yeah.
I've been thinking
Never
about
say
it.
never.
I know. I've been thinking about it. You know, it's nice to have it, especially if you have a place. A lot of people now, I think, are just keeping it set up and, you know, finding a spot in their basement or whatever to keep it. You just bring it out and you're set.
Exactly. You said they just kind of unfold, you know, primp them up a little bit, plug them in, they're ready to go. Because again, all of our trees now come pre-wired with the lights on there.
Absolutely. Speaking of lights.
Exactly. Now, sometimes that can be a little bit of an issue when you go for all the convenience and you plug it in and you find some lights aren't working. But Perisonic's going to give us some pointers on how to deal with that issue if you run into it. It's that time of year again as we go into our basements and attics and garages, pull out all the Christmas decorations and get ready for a beautiful holiday season. Of course, one of the frustrations that we face is when we pull all those ornaments and decorations out and you find that the lights are not lighting up. It can be a little bit tedious and it can take some of the fun out of the holidays. But it doesn't have to be all that difficult. Perry is with us here today, give us some pointers on how to keep all the lights on for Christmas.
Thank you, David. Absolutely. Very simple on a single bulb on a tree. It's a simple replacement. A lot of times you have more than one bulb or an entire strand or several branches out. You do want to do a little more diagnosis on that to find out what the old-fashioned way. Start with one bulb that's good, go through the entire strand until you find the bulbs that are out. A little time consuming, a little frustrating, people get a little fed up with that.
Yeah, that's what I hear is that people have been through checking bulb by bulb and still don't come up with a, still doesn't light up.
It is a big problem, absolutely, and that's why they have come out with several tools. We have a product we call the Lightkeeper Pro, which is a great little device. I use it here all the time. Can check just about anything you need as far as lighting goes on your tree. Very simple procedure on all of these. Remove the dead bulb, check it to make sure it is dead. That's going to tell you, and then put a new bulb in. If it is an entire strand, you can plug the Lightkeeper Pro directly into the tree by using a little socket, and it's going to light up all the bulbs in that strand. Find the dead ones, replace them, you're good to go. If that doesn't work, simply pull the trigger on this machine 3 or 4 times. The shunting will start that strand up, give a little blast of electricity, and you're good to go. If there's a bulb or two out, replace them at that point. Your strand is ready to go. Not a difficult thing. Don't get frustrated. That's the way I look at it.
Right. I know some people have 2, 3 trees and wreaths and everything, so I could see where a little tool like this could be really handy.
It's a great device. It's got a plug in it that you can do individual strands of garland or lights before you put them on your tree. So it is really set up, can check fuses, bulbs. It's a great little device.
Right. Now, I understand if a light or two goes out, the tree as a whole stays lit.
Yes, yes. They nowadays have it set up so that you can have even 3 to 4 on a strand. It's not going to affect the tree, but it is best to replace those lights as soon as possible, less wear and tear on the tree.
Right, but if the light is broken, if it got broken during storage or handling.
If it's broken off, normally the entire strand will go out. But again, that's where the Lightkeeper comes in. Pull out any bulb, put this onto the socket, and it's going to light up just that strand, and you can locate the bulb that is broken, that is not lit up.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Now, can you say a thing or two about LED lights?
LEDs are a little more difficult because they have a resistor in the wire. You cannot use the tool. It will block the electricity that this tool needs to use. So it's the old-fashioned way. Take a good bulb, start from one end, and slowly replace it in each socket until you come to the one that's burned out.
Yeah, so all matter of choice, like
Yes.
most things in life.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So now, in addition to keeping the lights on and lit, do you have a thing or two you can tell us about safe holiday?
Well, safety is always a big one anytime you're using electricity. Extension cords. Don't use long ones. Use the minimum length you need to get that to your socket. Be careful when you're outdoors. Indoors and outdoors are 2 different types of lighting. Need to be grounded outdoors. And the amount of lights on each extension cord or wall socket. All recommendations come with trees and garland on how many you can hook together. Stay within that recommendation. Don't go over, because you can create problems, and why take the risk?
Right, absolutely. Well, thank you. Appreciate you coming out here today and giving us pointers on how to keep the holiday safe and also keep all the Christmas lights on nice and bright.
My pleasure.
Speaking of birds, you see a little bit of our bird tree there and by our new fireplace, and lots of ideas for the holidays. Now, I mentioned live trees before, thinking we were going to that video, but we've got lots of pictures of live trees.
Exactly. So there's more options here, and one of those, what I'm saying, using a living tree, trees that are balled and burlap. And when I talk to people, I really try to think in terms of how are you going to use this plant in the landscape. I was talking with a couple last night and trying to explain the way you need to look at this is you're going to select a tree for your landscape, but it's perfect time also to borrow that and keep it inside for a couple weeks.
Absolutely.
As a Christmas tree. So again, we just have this big diverse selection of plants in there, and you can see everything in there from blue spruce, Serbian spruce, Norway spruce, white pines, hollies, junipers, magnolia in there, just many things to choose from. But I wanted to focus a little bit on the blue spruce because this is really a favorite for everybody. And what makes it so distinctive, of course, is that beautiful powder blue color. So you can see a couple varieties in there. These are a little bit shorter growing ones. The two on the ends, or the bookends there, are Fat Albert. They're going to grow to a height of about 15 foot tall. And right in the center is Baby Blue Eyes, which is going to mature, again, about 15, maybe 20 foot tall, gets a little bit bigger. So again, even within blue spruces, you can select them for smaller sizes depending on what kind of room you have in your landscape. So blue spruce, you want to look at size, but also you'll find there's variation in color. So if we go back to our pictures, here what you're looking at in the background is that's going to be a full-size blue spruce, but it's a variety, it's called Bison. And in the foreground is a blue spruce that's called Sester's Dwarf. It stays very small. So again, what I'm trying to point out is the color is also a genetic trait, and you will find blue spruce that go from green to a solid blue and hues in between. So that's one of the reasons you see so many different varieties that are out there for both the size and the color. And then in the next image here, it shows even a little low prostrate weeping one in the foreground. But I did also want to mention right in the center, that nice white bark, that's a fairly new variety of birch. It's a hybrid. It's called Royal Frost, and it does give us that smooth, almost paper bark birch kind of look, because everybody is trying to achieve that appearance. But for the most part, these smooth bark birches are really not tolerant of our hot, dry summers. So this is a new introduction. The foliage comes out sort of a deep burgundy sort of color, and then the wintertime you get that nice white bark on there. So that's also one to look at. So I'm going to go back to looking at spruce trees, because again, spruce, you know what, they don't make very good cut trees. If there's a cut tree in the land, you cut it and bring it inside, they tend to shed their needles, but they're fantastic for use out in the landscape. The Norway spruce is probably the fastest, most vigorous growing one. So here it's being used to create an evergreen screen that's out there. And the Norway spruce, you'll see a lot of this in older homes where somebody planted it as a cute little Christmas tree, but then it grew to be 60 foot tall and obscuring the house. So that's where I say you really have to think about, how am I going to use this tree in my landscape? Because it's great tradition to have, and you continue to buy trees and add them to your garden. Like your father was telling us about a customer that had purchased each year a blue spruce from us, year after year for decades, and he can go out in his yard now and show you like 21.
I was going to say, or 28. For some reason, 28 sticks in my mind.
It could be. I've lost track of the number, but he just, you know,
he's quite some property, I'm sure.
Proud of those, right?
Yeah.
So again, these things, they give you years and years of value that's in there. Super quick here, I'm going to go through a couple others. The Serbian spruce is a favorite of a lot of people because it is it's narrow, grows more vertical, doesn't take up quite as much room. It's also tough and durable. Beautiful as a Christmas tree while you have it inside. And then we also do have pine tree, white pine, which most people know has that very soft textured long needle that's in there. So that's white pine. And then just realize that those grow really quite large. So just come in. I only have time to kind of introduce to you a couple varieties. This shows just sort of the type of selection that you're going to find if you're looking for a live tree to use this year.
And if you're looking for something smaller, you've got an option there too.
Exactly, the dwarf Alberta spruce. I was about to forget that one.
Don't forget dwarf Alberta spruce.
This again is a cultivar of a white spruce that you're seeing there. The white spruce, it grows, this one came from Alberta, Canada, so it grows way up there north. It only grows about 1 or 2 inches a year, so over about a 25-year time period, you know, you might see it 8 foot tall.
Right.
You get a really old tree, it might go 10, 12 foot tall.
These are so nice to have on the table in the house. It's great.
They are. So there's a tree to suit your needs, whatever they are.
Absolutely. And we brought over also a few poinsettias because it's, as you can see on the set, there's a lot of poinsettias around. And we've got some new different ones. So we wanted to just quickly, before we headed into our next break, and by the way, we'll be taking your phone calls on the next segment, so give us a call there. But lots of different options. This one is strawberries and cream.
Yeah, and I have Winter's Rose, which has sort of the double-flowered bracts on there.
This is Tapestry. They're just also not just your normal everyday poinsettias.
Exactly.
Lots of different looks.
But we have plenty of the traditional ones as well.
Absolutely.
So you'll definitely come into the greenhouse and enjoy that as well.
Right. So as you're getting your holiday decorating started, don't forget poinsettias. We'll be right back, and we'll be taking your phone calls, 703-387-1046. Talk to you in just a minute. Looks so pretty. Part of our new home away from home.
I know. I wish my home looked that. It's nice.
Well, we're taking your phone calls, 703-387-1046. So if you have any questions, please give us a call. And David, our first caller is Gretchen, who's calling from Forestville. Hi, Gretchen.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Morning.
Did you have a good
Happy
Thanksgiving?
holidays. My question is this. I have a tropical hibiscus.
Okay.
And certainly I brought it in the house. And it's continuing to bloom. Now, should I water it any differently than I would have if it were outside in the summertime?
Let me ask you quickly, with the environment, I know you brought it inside, but is it a bright, sunny, warm?
In the room where it gets a lot of sunlight.
Good, good. You'll probably cut back a little bit on your watering, but if you have a warm, bright, sunny area, then that plant will continue to grow, will continue to flower, and you'll just need to sort of keep it evenly moist. You know from growing this plant, hibiscus, if you let it go dry, it will tell you it dramatically wilts and it tends to drop flower buds. But then you water it and it perks right back up again.
Right, okay.
So, and let me ask, how big is the pot?
The pot is about 12 inches.
Yeah. So my guess, depending on your environment is there, you're probably going to be watering about once every 7, maybe 10 days.
Yeah.
Just if you forget to water it, the hibiscus will tell you it dramatically just starts to droop. But again, as you know, don't let it sit in water. So you water,
Right.
let it kind of flush through there. But any excess water that's sitting in the bottom of that little saucer, make sure you dump that out after a few minutes.
Right. Now, on the tropicals, the blooms only last like a day and they fall off after that.
Right. They don't last long, but if they get enough sunlight, they're prolific bloomers.
Okay. The other question I have, I have a corn plant that's almost hitting the ceiling, but the ends of the corn plant on some leaves, the lower leaves, are turning yellow. Do you think that's too much water, or it's getting a little draft, or?
Well, there's a couple different things that can cause that. Some of it can be associated with incorrect watering. And when I say incorrect watering, it's important that, like I said, when you water, that water goes all the way through the container, starts to leach out the bottom,
Okay.
and then dispose of it. Some of that is just basically to prevent salts from accumulating in the soil that can lead to a little bit of that yellowing or browning on the edge.
Okay.
They'll also do that as a result of low humidity, which is always a challenge in the winter time when the
Right.
heat comes on. And then in some occasions, the fluoride that we put in the water to keep our
Yeah.
teeth good and strong, that becomes toxic to the plant and starts to cause yellowing at the tips. So wherever you're able to, use distilled water or make
Okay.
sure you let it set out to remove any kind of fluoride from it, that might be helpful.
Okay.
But it is probably the watering or possibly even the low humidity situation.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Enjoy the
right.
holidays.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. Kathy is our next caller. She's calling from Nokesville. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you?
Great, and you?
I'm doing wonderful. I love your program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a fountain area that I've put some evergreens in. I've got camellias, bird's nest, spruce, a blue topiary evergreen, blue
Nice.
spruce, the popsicle-looking one. And I've tried to introduce some perennials in there, but they seem to really be struggling. I'm assuming it's because the soil's too acidic, because the evergreens are doing so well. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, I'm going to say I doubt that it really has anything to do with the acidity of the soil. Now, we can always check that out. If you bring us about 10, 12-ounce cup of soil, we can check the pH and see if that's it. But have you amended the soil? I'm more thinking in terms of the density of the soil, if it has good drainage and good aeration. But did you mix compost and all in there?
Yeah, when I first built this house, I brought soil and compost in so much my neighbors thought I was never going to actually plant a plant. I've amended the soil so much. So I don't think it's poor soil quality. The soil's beautiful. It's black. It's very rich.
Okay. So what kind of perennials are you trying?
I've added some of it's a new one. It's called Firepower Heuchera. It's very sun tolerant. I've got some cranesbill in there. I've got a couple of dahlias coming up each year. I've tried some of the Russian sage in there, but that really struggles.
Right. I guess I'm still thinking in terms of drainage, and the only part is because some of the plants that you'd mentioned, like the heuchera and the Russian sage and everything, need that really moist but well-drained soil. I think they're probably a little more sensitive to it than some of the others. So bring some samples in. You're near our Gainesville store. Bring some samples in the clinic. Let us look at it. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking we may need to talk to you about amending with some Permatil around those perennial beds to enhance the aeration and drainage.
Okay.
But I'd like to see some samples before we take that step. But the product's called Permatil. When you get to the store, you might mention that we discussed that and see if they feel like that's a good move. Or come on into the Fair Oaks store and I'll be there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the call.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. Kenny is calling from Alexandria. Hi, Kenny.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good morning.
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What can we do for
I
you?
have a question on red tips that I use around my backyard as a privacy barrier, and I keep them trimmed at about 8 feet. And
Right.
I'd like to bring them back to 6 foot, and so I'm concerned about cutting them 2 foot at one time. And what is the best time to do this trimming?
Okay, well that's a good question. Now the answer is yes, you can cut them back to 6 foot, no problem. They'll probably even fill in and get denser and still do wonderfully for you. Now to me the best time of year to do that's going to be late February, March. So I would not do it right now. I'd like to get through the really cold months of December and January, and then sometimes we get into late February, March time period. You can go back there and you cut them back to whatever height. You can cut them back to 4 foot, 6 foot, wherever they need to be. And then around April, they'll start putting out all that bright new growth and they'll be perfectly fine.
Okay. I had one other follow-up on that. I'm having a problem with them right now with the fungal on the leaves. Is
Yes.
there anything I can do this time of year to keep them healthy?
No, the only thing you can do right now is any leaves that fall or collect around the ground, just kind of keep the area clean, rake them up and put them out with the trash. Don't try to compost them. But that Entomosporium leaf spot's a fungal infection that is very common in those. And so what you would need to do is cut them back like we talked about. When that new growth begins to emerge in April and into May, then you can treat them on a preventative basis with a fungicide, but that's going to be April and May as the new growth's emerging. And you could use Daconil, does a very good job on that, or you could consider using Immunox.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for the call.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk to Eva. So hold on just a minute, Eva, and we'll be right back. Get ready to hang your stocking on the mantle. Oh,
Santa will be coming at all Merrifield stores today.
that's right. That's right.
Be ready.
Absolutely. The holidays are here. Okay. Eva was holding for us. Thank you so much, Eva. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Good
Thanks
morning.
for holding.
Good morning.
Great. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Good.
I have, I just found in my basement I guess, about 4 dozen daffodil bulbs. Can I still plant them?
How long have you had them in the basement?
This is November, since October.
Okay, it's not like the way you said that. I was
last year,
thinking,
weren't
well, they've been sitting there for 2 or 3 years, but no. Nice.
No, just since September, October. I
Okay, well,
planted quite a few, and then I brought them in and left them, just forgot about them.
Okay, that happens to everybody. See, for me, I can forget stuff for a few years before I come across it. But no, those bulbs are still in great condition. They can be planted any time. I have planted daffodils as late as January and still had them come up and bloom beautifully. So don't feel pressured. You're not late at all. Those bulbs, you can get them in the ground, as soon as you can. Be nice if you can get them in there, before Christmas comes. But then, like I said, they'll come up, they'll flower for you just wonderfully.
Okay, thank you very, very much.
Okay,
Great.
enjoy.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Okay, I don't think we have any other callers as yet. No, not yet. So if you have any questions, we have a few minutes left. 703-387-1046. As we were coming back out, you notice the doorway on our outdoor part of our set. Just wanted to mention that there are so many different ways to decorate for the holidays, and we will get into that in later shows.
Yeah, and we do make custom arrangements and greens. You're talking about decorating for the holidays, whether it's a custom wreath that you might want made. We make all our own wreaths in there. I mean, we cut the greens, assemble them, so you can come in and make special orders. We do centerpieces, and we can customize garland and everything. So it's, as I said, I mean, there's just limitless options that are out there.
Great. Okay. All right. And we do have another caller. Susan is calling from Lorton. You there, Susan?
Yes, hi.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good. What's your question?
I have a garden plot that I've been renting for about 3 years, and I planted 4 knockout rose bushes around the perimeter, and we moved to a new home, and it's further away, so I'm probably going to give up the garden plot, but I want to move the bushes over to my new home. Is it too late in the year now to do that?
No, actually the best time of year to be transplanting roses is during the dormant season. Now, can I ask, when are you actually moving to your new home?
We're in it now.
Oh, you're in it now. Yeah, then they can really be moved anytime this winter. Now, I would tell you, to me, the very best time to move them would be March. But if for some reason, that your rental of that plot was expiring or something like that,
yes,
then I wouldn't hesitate to do it right now. So anytime when they're dormant, say between now and before the 1st of April, that's going to be your best window of opportunity. I just stress, like any new plant, you have to be careful that they don't dry out during the winter time. They don't require very much water, but you just can't allow them to go completely dry.
Okay. Do you recommend that I add any special soil or anything underneath when I dig up the new spot?
Not really. Treat like any new plant. I'm assuming that your new home has the same old red clay that the rest of us have. So you'll take the red clay soil and mix about 25% compost. So, 25% compost, 75% clay. Stir all that up together and use that as your planting mix. But the knockouts don't require the same amount of attention that a lot of the hybrid teas do.
Okay. All right. Well, then I think I have some digging to do. Thank you very much.
Okay. You picked a cold weekend to do it.
That's right. Enjoy. Okay. Our next caller is Susie, who's calling from Hyattsville. Hi, Susie.
Hi. How are you this morning?
Great. And
doing
you?
just great.
I have a question. I have a very old oak tree, and the roots are really sitting up off the ground to where everybody trips over them.
Right.
I know I can't cut them back. Is it okay just to put gravel or some rocks, make like a path around the tree? Would that hurt the roots?
Oh, that actually sounds like a pretty good idea.
Good.
The thing is that we're always concerned about, we don't like to bury tree roots. You don't want to pile 12 inches of soil or over them or anything like that, because that would kill the tree. But if you're talking about just enough loose soil, mulch or stone, just to sort of cover the surface of the roots, that'd probably be a good thing for them. It may help to reduce the amount of compaction that's taking place on there. So that sounds like a very sensible solution to me.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, just remember, not too much, just enough to sort of just cover them, the bare minimum you need to get the job done.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, let's see. We have one more caller. I think Sharon is calling from Suitland. Are you there, Sharon?
Yes.
Great. We just have about a little over a minute left. What can we do for you?
I have a weeping Japanese lace leaf maple.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
Yes. I have a white fungal-looking circular growth on it. It's not scale. I've been trying to find out what it is so that I could treat it, but I can't find it anywhere.
Is it very, very smooth right along the trunk of the tree, or is it kind of popping out?
It's kind of popping out.
A little spongy.
It's kind of popping out.
Okay, this doesn't sound real promising to me. How does the tree look?
The tree looks good. She's healthy. Yeah, she just lost all of her leaves. She's rather a large tree. She's very mature.
Yeah. One of the things I'm concerned about is that could be what's called a shelf fungus, and it indicates that there could be decay occurring inside the tree. So it's not a fungal disease, but it could indicate a defect. They're going to pull the plug on us, but super quick. If you can take a picture and email it to me, that would be ideal. And you can send that to dyost@mgc.com. But I'm concerned about, but I don't know if there's a lot of options available to you.
Thank you. Sorry to cut you off. Thank you so much for joining us. Come by the open house this weekend. Take care. Bye.